Yahoo, Prof here, and we got a wee bit of things to unbox. If you hear some background noise, that's the desktop there. We just got finished playing some Call of Duty. I got the new Gundam skins, and the reason why we're being done is it's almost 2, and this little kitten showed up and has attacked me multiple times to prevent me from playing. So she thinks it's time to sit down. I don't disagree, but we got that to deal with. So we're going to sit down and deal with that. Some of this stuff is stuff that was here from the last video. I just still haven't made a video for you guys on it. And other stuff's, whoa, brand spanking new. Alright. Let's kind of do these 3 right here, right out of the gate together. I have sharpened the letter opener. It is sharper, but it is still not that sharp. I probably need to go. It's the first time I sharpened it, and it's the first time also I've used my sharpener in a while. But, I mean, look. It works. It's way better than it was. Dull AF before. Alright, we got her. Yeah, this is way sharper. I did cut open like one of these style bags, and I did not cut cleanly, completely. It went like, it had like little hang-ups. So I think we need to go a little bit more on her. But I want to say, right now it's probably about, if not, possibly even a little bit sharper than it was brand new. So this, you might have been able to tell by the cube shape, is from Kustoms, which also happens to be where one of these other packages is from. Huzzah! And if you know the cube, which you should, from previous ones, you would know that it's this pen holder. Why do I need another one? Full. Yup. It's that simple. As I stick myself with sticky notes. Alright, garbage. Gonna need a garbage pile. So, I did order some replacement G2 springs. Which are in here. Right there. Why did I order G2 springs? Because I never have any, and I use them in the Tactile Turn Slim pens, which includes the new Sprout, right? Now, David usually has one, or I type one from, you know, like I see somebody's got a G2 pen at work, and I'm like, hey, I can give you a different pen body that fits this. Can I have that one? And normally people are okay with it. Surprisingly. I feel like you guys are way too dim. Okay, I cranked up the brightness and it hasn't moved. What in the hell is going on? Alright, I think we're good. Now, I don't know why the brightness was super duper 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 low for a bit there. So if we go back, yeah. How do I get out of the menu once? I hate the controls on the new camera app because exposure used to be a slider right up top. You could just be recording or taking pictures and slide it real quick. Now it's buried in a frickin' menu. It used to be nice and easy to change and swap. Now it isn't. So there we go. This is, in here though, is the adapter. It's the Ultem, Delrin adapter with the black cap there. Might be Ultem. Either way, this is what adapts the Paisley This is what adapts the modal, standard modal, right here, standard modal, right there. Adapts this guy to Parker refills. David got one of his shipped that way. I bought mine all except for probably that one, which was the matte Delrin, which is my go-to now because it's not nearly as slippy. They polished it, or they didn't polish it. They sanded it. Way less slippery than the standard kind of like gloss Delrin, and especially more so than the black shiny with the brass where it's like really back heavy. This was basically like sanded down to give it like some texture to it, and it grips way more than. And I know you're like, oh, you're not holding those as tight. No, I am. That's how much just giving it a texture really helps. So I just picked that up because I needed to throw something on the order. I needed these G2 springs to kind of fill out the rest of the order a little bit, and I didn't have one of these adapters. So if I do want to do this, I now have the adapter. The reason why we really ordered though was for this guy right here. I would have liked to get a colored one. However, the colored ones are very rare. I can never find anybody selling the colored ones. And they haven't had any this year. Last year I was only able to buy off extras from when they were at a pen show and they still had some left. And that's how I got my I don't know what color you want to call it. It's like not OD green, tan, desert tan, something like that. Yeah, desert tan Cerakote. I would have bought the other one, but they sold. I think it was like a red. They sold that off. So what we have here is our cube. They normally sit like this for me. So the oldest one here, and then fill them out like roughly like that. It's not exact, I'm gonna say. And this one's actually going to stay out because I have not used these pens. Truthfully, I haven't used the other generation of pens, like half of those, because they all came in right on Black Friday, right on the sales. I didn't use enough, but this has my Hi-Tec-C. This is like the main one I run, the orange Cerakote one where I took a little nick out of it. Like I said, I use my pens. This went just dink on something like either glass or metal, and it was hard enough to chip the Cerakote. This guy I've used a whole bunch, but this is the one that had to go for repair. This is the Icefall from Tactile Turn. What else do we... Okay. Also, you can tell I really like the Icefall. I have the matching knife. That actually, I think... I mean, they did a great job with the pen, but I almost think they did a better job with the knife. Paisley's literally going after the... Oh, here. I know what you want. She wants her bag, guys. Right here, her bag. Yeah, then we have the Ultra Black EDK. That was on the test site with the I believe it was this guy, actually. Could have been this one, which is the standard Ultem. One of the two Ultems it was on there with. On Kuras's new test site. And yeah, then we have the Ice Vault. Then we have the original Delaran with the brass. To be truthful, had this not been a Pen Club exclusive, I don't know. I may not have picked it up. The brass with the Delaran. The Delaran's super lightweight, and the brass is super kind of unbalanced and heavy. The white, which is the non-Pen Club Delaran, with the aluminum, much nicer. This is like my daily driver when it comes to tactile turn, especially the G10 or the thick boy tactile turn ones. This is my go-to. Obviously, very orange. This one's already seen a ton of use. I think I'm halfway through the refill in it already. This one, this is another EDK from Tactile Turn. I just saw it and I had to have it. To be truthful, that's what happened there. It's actually a battle-worn olive. You've probably seen a bunch of my other pens. We found out I like green pens. Green pen. And we found out I like green pens. And in regards to that, this one they had it in their photos, and they had it right next to this guy right here. And it just looked good, and I think they had it next to one of these two with the Ultem. It just looks good with the, let me zoom out possibly to the other camera to get some more light. Nope, it's going dark again for some reason. I literally don't know why the exposure keeps messing up. We're going to go one stop bright good. Now how do I close it is the question, because that's what I ran into last time, is, once I have this open, okay, now to exit, there you go. So this olive look, I think it sold, I got these two together. This is the matte black Delaran. That's my daily driver because you don't really have to worry about it. And then also even just picture with the Ultem, the olive looks really good. So even though I definitely do not need another EDK, because I picked up the ultra black, I believe. It's like a super matte, kind of almost slightly hammered finished black with the silver hardware. As my kind of just like EDK V2 generic, because I didn't have one of those, surprisingly. Oh, here's another thing. The Pen Club came very early, so it actually has standard guts, like black guts, whereas the normal one that's available to everybody has clear O-ring and Ultem guts. I would actually take this one over this guy. Like, if they were both available, technically this grip, this speed groove grip, is exclusive to the Pen Club. I'd probably just have bought this one in my hand right here. Kind of same thing with the Delaran, oddly enough. This one's the more collectible one, the more wanted, a sought after one, and that's the one I would take. And you can tell that that's the case because I went with, and also this being, they mentioned when they made these that they're really slippery. It's just so slippery. That they made matte ones. And the one thing I will say is it looks like my oils are building up, because this has like been my go-to since it came in. Just pick it up. I love the Modals. As much as they call this not an everyday carry pen, remember they have their everyday carry pen right here. It is the same length as their everyday carry pen. So it is, in my opinion, a everyday carry pen. So next up, what do we have? I always keep my pry bar on my desk, so my pry bar goes on this one. It just stays there until that spot gets filled. And what do we got? We got the Sprout. Ugh. Oh. Paisley brought some like boogers or something. Clean off my mouse pad. Nice thing about glass pads, though, is though you have to clean them more often, it's way easier to clean. Sprout. Sprout was order May 10th that came in. So then let's look up Montana. Montana Knife Company would have been shipped on the 8th. The Sprout would have shipped on the 7th. Then we have Keras, Modal. Oh god, no. 6th, looks like. Yeah, you guys have seen me open up that one. Tumbled is what it's called, not tumbled matte. So far it goes tumbled matte. It goes tumbled matte, right? Then it goes Sprout, which I quite like this one. I was rocking this one all week. Last week at work, really like this Sprout. Actually, the week prior as well. The other thing I like about the slim bolts, not the slim side clicks. They don't do it. I put a juice up in my slim side click. But the slim bolts, however they design them, they natively fit Uniball refills, so Euro 110 size, without any cutting whatsoever. They actually fit, and they even fit them even better now because the Sprouts are a revised bolt. I think I showed you guys that, where they actually made the bolt slim on the slim bolt. And you wonder how my pens take little hits, because I use them and then I drop them. I'm clumsy AF. Then next up, we have the, I think I did a video on this, hopefully. This is the Montana Knife Co. X Tactile Turn. Really love it. It's orange. It has knurling. You gotta pick that up. This one almost worked without shaving. Like, it is so close. The aluminum bolts are so close to taking a Uniball refill without cutting anything off. I had to take just the hair. You can actually get it to go past, and then it hits this little notch. Just, you can hear it go click, 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 and you're gonna wear either the bolt or the notch out on the pen if you do that. So I had to just take off a little, it feels so good in hand too. The only thing that I had managed to do, and I couldn't use it because of the knurling actually, was mess up my my hand. I got something stuck in there or cut. Oh, here, that's why. Because of Paisley attacked me. She didn't really attack me. Her claw got cut on a hangnail and ripped it up to like there on my hand. It was great. It was not great. I am lying. Yeah, it was definitely, in fact, not great. I feel like I'm missing a pen. But, yeah, for now we've got these guys right there. We've got the tumbled black Modal, Sprout, and the Montana Knife Co. X Tactile Turn. I don't buy every Tactile Turn collab because they have one that's basically just their aluminum pens before they made them available separately and stuff like that. I do have the Bernally, which is brass. I think that's the only time they've used brass. That one, that's pretty badass. So, you know, I'll pick them up from time to time. But these guys will get put in the G2 for next time. Any of the slim tactile turn you want a G2 spring for. They ship with tactile turns normal, very coarse springs. And you're like, oh, but you bought them from Keras. Yeah, I think Keras just buys, I believe they just use G2, and they put G2 refills in, so they probably just, you know, keep a bunch of G2 entire pens on hand to do that. And I don't buy G2s because I want nothing to do with their ink. I give it all to Shane. You've seen on the channel before. By the way, we did give him his retract, his blue retract. I do believe he's been digging it, so that's always good. So got those. Got my adapter for if and when I need it. Both of those are relatively. I mean, these $5 for 5 springs. That's kind of a bit, but I mean, like a single pen with that, it's like a couple bucks. So, on the note of tactile turn, I may have noted in the video when I did the goobers got on the side of the. Maybe it's goobers from the pen cube. I don't know. So here's pen cube, right? So we have the Montana Knife Co. guy right there. I may have showed you that like the build of the, what do you want to call it? Like, see, it is sharp enough to cut that now, and I wouldn't have done that before. So I think I got it better, but I still feel like a little bit of work I can get that knife quite a bit sharper. I also cut like the worst place. Turns out, should have cut this side. See, and then with the back side, look at that, it can't even cut. Oh yeah. Let's bring it up a bit more. Yeah, easily. So like this side, like here forward, you got decent, yeah, look at that, decently nice and sharp. But the back side, yeah, that's not even sharp at all. And I have like I don't know, they got like 3 stones. I think you can get some that have 5. They're on like a metal stick. What they help with really is keeping the angle correct. And realistically, because it holds the knife, like it clamps it, and you go, it's way quicker than doing the hand, like that sort of stuff. I can do that. That's how I used to do it, but especially when you use the knife, that's a big reason why I stopped using knives and I switched to, I could go get my tactical keychains tuck. And before that, I used a Uniball, or not Uniball, Gerber EAB. Just because I got sick of having to sharpen, you know, it'd be like a week or 2 that you'd have a nice sharp blade for, and then you'd have to sharpen it. Just annoyance. Oh, hey, look at that. Tactile turn. Alright, so what... I reached out to Tactile Turn because I was surprised, and I was like, hey, did you guys change something when you made the bolts out of aluminum? Aluminium. Did you change something in the way that they do not need an O-ring anymore? And you're like, what do you mean by that? Here is exactly what I mean by that. When you open it up, there's no O-ring. Nothing. There's a slot for an O-ring. And if you're like, oh, what do you mean an O-ring? Okay, here's the sprout. Yes, it's a slim, so the O-ring's smaller. But look right there. That is actually what like holds the tip on, you know, nice and tight and seamlessly, right? Well, this doesn't have it, but it also has, it had some anti-seize on it, actually. And now we are screwing aluminum into aluminum, so I could see why you might need some anti-seize. But I was like, hey, did you change this? Because, you know, I haven't seen the lube before, but I haven't owned a titanium one before. And I also, like, I'm used to there being an O-ring there. And they're like, yeah, no, does it not have an O-ring? It's supposed to have an O-ring. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it doesn't have an O-ring. So the other thing those guys did is they sent over, looks like, 2 G2 refills, 0.7 probably, G27, So thank you. You guys didn't have to do that. I appreciate it. They will not be mine. They will probably get handed off to Shane, since he's got his retract now, and can use those, and actually does not mind. I mean, I'm not gonna say, like, if you handed me like a Bic stick and a Pilot G2, David would probably actually take the Bic stick or the Bic crystal, right? I would take the Pilot G2 any day of the week. I'll take a gel pen any day over a ballpoint. But, like, in the realm of ballpoints, or I should say in the realm of gel ink, I have never, I shouldn't say never, almost, there was one point when I ran a Dr. Grip with a G2 refill in it. I want to say that was probably elementary school. That's when the Dr. Grip came out. Once the V5, if you guys want to see some more history on that, look up when the V5 RT came out, which is the retractable V5. That is when I switched to that refill, because I preferred the Pilot V5. Was very common for my dad's side. Engineering and technical drawing, that sort of stuff. That Rollerball was well established in my life by that time. So when the V5 RT came out, I was like, ooh, and I still use the Dr. Grip. Dr. Grip was a pretty common pen around that era, I would say, for a nicer pen. They also, towards the end there, had a G2 Limited, I want to say. That was like a metal body G2. Tried those. Nice little thick pen, though. Still, even back then, I like the thick pen. We're just going to take these tactile turn O-rings, put them in the pile of spare parts. I have a box of spare parts. This I'm going to keep because it's a plenty good shiny plastic bag, and you can reuse that. Keep stuff in it. I should probably label this too and put away the sharp pointy thing. That's not, it's very pointy, just not all that sharp anymore. Like I said, I did improve it. You saw it cut the bag. Before it wouldn't have done that. I gotta spend some more time with it though. Here we go. I have written right on the bag, but it's far better, at least in my experience. You can just get a little piece of tape out. Pull that right off there. There we go. Tactile turn, standard O-rings. There you go. Bada bing, bada boom. You know what that? Last but not least in this video, these gotta go with me to work tomorrow. I should probably shoot him a quick email and be like, hey, you got the O-rings? Thanks for free refills. Alright, just sent an email following up saying, hey, got the O-ring. O-ring is now on here. Tip doesn't unscrew on its own very easily anymore. Just adds a little bit of friction on there. And so thanks for the refills, because though I may not use them, they didn't have to include them, and they will go to use. It's the first time I've worked with Karos's thing. Usually pulling through the tapes, basically impossible. Alright, so now we finally have a pen. Like, finally? Yes, finally indeed. So, in here, in this little baggie here, we have the other one, which is the Ultem adapter. Same adapter, Parker adapter for the standard Modal. They give you a refill. I think I ordered blue last time. This time I ordered black. Easy Flow 9000. I think this is like a 0.6 or something. This is Parker G2, not Pilot G2. Which is, since then, Linus Tech Tips have actually released their pen made out of old screwdriver shafts. And they made it Parker compatible. Apparently the screwdriver shaft on the inside was too skinny to fit a Euro 110 refill, which is womp womp for me, because that's what I prefer. Squeers is happy though. No, you can't even see that, can you? Well, you might be able to tell. It's Ultem. So this needs to be cut open. We'll use the Chomp Master, because I finally got another one of these. You're like, huh, that looks short. Sure does. Here is standard Ultem. There you go. Same grip body, right? Now this is what they call their EDC, because this is, if you take a look, that is Parker compatible. And this was available with a black clip. But as you can tell, I already have a Speed Groove limited edition, like pen club with black clip. And I didn't want the mini one to basically be exactly the same. Also, as you know, I'm a sucker, or as you might know as of this video, I'm a sucker for olive. So this is also part of the reason why they pictured these two together. And you gotta admit, they look darn good, probably because they anodized this and they anodized that clip. The other thing that was different about the Speed Groove one is it has Ultem guts. Like, we can zoom on in at a 5x there. See, knob and cup in there, Ultem, and it's got the clear O-ring. I really appreciate that. I think it's a cleaner look. I do believe that the standard one of these that is not Pen Club exclusive does not have the yeah, they actually milled that. It lines up really well. Oh, so yeah, and I put a Schmidt Capless in here, not the Easy Flow. Capless P8126. The 2.6 is the 0.6. They also have a 2.7, which is a 0.7. So that's kind of why I like the 8126, for those wondering. I always kind of wondered, like, I like it, and it's bold. It's more bold than I usually use, which is usually a 0.38 or 0.4. But it's not, like, horrendously bold, right? Well, that's because it's a 0.6, so it's not a 0.7, which is, like, that's the American size. Give me that 0.7 millimeter. I'll debate whether I keep this in here, or I might put I have those one gel refills that are Parker sized. We'll see. It does fit this quite well. I might grab... I don't have any of those down here right now. What has those in, though? Oh, yeah. Smooth operator. Smooth operator. This is actually, I think, where the thinner bolt came from. So, look, smooth operator already has the slim bolt. This should say TheProfosist. They done effed it up. I got sick of it because they had to replace my pen twice. No, they replaced the bolt once because it's the first time Tactile turned to Delrin for the bolt. Because, or the actual like cup for the bolt. And it turned out it was because the bolt was cross-threaded. They got me all figured out. It was just like, god damn. And then by the time I got my replacement, and then I realized it wasn't engraved, I was just like, okay, just refund me for the engraving part. Because they at least got my Damascus bolt on there. So here, the reason why we got this one out is this has the Auto Gel 0.5, which is, that's the most precise gel available, I believe, for the Parker compatible sizing here. Let's see if this fits properly. Yeah, that'll do. I think it wants that skinnier spring though. Oh, this one has a skinnier spring. Okay, okay. So they didn't just do the... I thought they might have just shortened it and put the adapter in, but I guess they wouldn't have been able to get it short enough, probably. Alright, let's screw this together. It's got a bit of... I don't know if I would run this all the time. It's not really designed for the Parker style refill. It's designed for the Schmidt Capless, like this guy. Which makes sense, because this is made by Kustoms. Kustoms says their everyday carry is the EDK. It's partly because it uses the Schmidt Capless style of refill, not the Parker style. This technically does work, it looks like, but it's a loosey-goosey goose fitting. Yeah, I just don't want... Yeah, I'll probably stick with the 0.6 millimeters. Sometimes the little short guys actually feel better with the little bit thicker, stumpier refills, to be truthful, because I don't know, they're just a little bit more stout, I guess, or something like that. It does really fill it up. Like they definitely made the cup inside of here exactly fit the capless style, and there is no play in that. Yep, we're gonna stick with the Schmidt capless. I mean, I like it because obviously I put that in the EDK, and the EDK could have one of these too. Let's grab the... Here's the EDK Schmidt capless. This is a 8127. In the... I don't think I really had a choice in the when I ordered this olive one. Alright. Put that in there. And technically it works. It feels wrong though, because I'm used to having a Schmidt capless in there. Like having that really needle point come out of that kind of... But it doesn't rattle around. It still doesn't fit as well in my opinion as the... Like there's a lot more play in there compared to the Schmidt capless. If for any why I'm pulling the spring out, normally that's not a problem for a G2 because the G2 spring style, or the like tactile turn, even coarser one, they're massive. They have wide open mouth, gaping mouth holes, and but the Parker style is much skinnier. Let's see here. Oh, it turns out the 0.7, the 8127, is bigger than the 8126. Who would have known that a 0.7mm refill draws a bigger line than a 0.6mm refill? Yep. So, and I do think prior to the modal existing, I argued that the smooth operator here is what they called it, was the best EDC pen because of how slim, short it was. Here, it's shorter than an EDK. A little bit, basically by the top of that mechanism there. But ever since the modal came out, even if you didn't have this is the pocket modal, right? Say you have the normal one right here, right? I would still say smooth operator is a little bit more classy. This mechanism with the coarse spring of a Parker refill though is quite hard to use. It is intended, by the way, also to not even use a Parker refill, to use an Oto. Now it came with a non-gel Oto, like it came with the standard ballpoint. I replaced it, and what I mean by that is it's got the needlepoint Oto refill. That's what I was trying here. So it's a needlepoint. So it's specifically designed not only for a Parker refill, not a Schmidt Capless, but a needlepoint, which is interesting because as like a technical pen, that kind of makes sense. But dang, is just how coarse the spring is. Like you really got to work on it. Whereas this guy, even though it's a much steeper angle, yeah. So let me know what you guys think. Would you have gone this combination of modal pocket? This is the one that's coming with me to work tomorrow. Little guy, you know. And I'm going to be rocking a Schmidt Capless in it, or some variant of the full size Schmidt refill, because these are also Schmidt in the these are the Easy Flow 9000. This is what is shipping in the LTT pen. Theoretically, if it fits that, there's no reason why I guess it shouldn't fit the Capless, but we have seen that before, even from stuff from Tactile Turn. Their was it a glider? I think it was called, like their pre-bolt era. It was a bolt pen, but it wasn't called the bolt. Had issues. I actually had to get a new one because the tapered down too quickly for this to fit in. Because it's a much more boxier refill, like it's like a tube with a stick sticking out, rather than the Parker refill kind of like angles down a bit towards what you're doing. But yeah, I went with because they had black and olive. I think they had other colors too, and other like not the non-Pen Club one, like a red maybe. You already seen. I like the olive. I also think the olive goes very well with the Ultem color. I appreciated the fact that it has the full Ultem action here, so you can see like the refill and everything. And I do like having that little bit of grip on here from the Speed Groove barrel. So, yeah, for the pockets, this would be my go-to. Like I said, I do like the Schmidt Capless. Like, if I ever go to my grandparents' house and I know I'll be writing stuff for them, having something that's about twice as wide pen-wise, much nicer. Also, if you're trying to write more boldly, it's much easier to do, right? But otherwise, I would prefer something like, like this guy, the Sprout here. Even the Slim, I don't know, I've been normally I like the thicker pens, but I thought the Sprout, just with its coloring, looked better as a slim pen. And then getting the Bolt gave it a much bigger white accent rather than just the screw there. But the Montana Knife Co. here, ooh, hoo-wee! With this knurling, Squares is jealous of the knurling here, so he's pumped when the LTT pen had knurling on it, because obviously the screwdriver it's made of has knurling. I almost wish, because they milled down. Here's an LTT screwdriver. Okay, so it's made of 2 screwdriver shafts. This here, imagine it inverted, right? That's not enough space, I don't think, for a refill. Yeah, now with an action. So the initial design they have, which I think is kind of cool, is they left this dip here. So you see how it like dips down, and this is like, so even with the knurling exposed, it's still the same height or less than where the magnet has to live up here, right? When they made it into a pen, though, because this determines the internal diameter, they actually milled it like the knurling is raised. I almost thought it would have been cool to have it still inlet like that, because you would have been able to see more that it was made of this, if that makes sense. It's actually, they did such a good job turning those these shafts from their pre-production like model that like they were made incorrectly from the wrong manufacturer or whatever. They did such good turning these down that it doesn't even look like it was originally a screwdriver shaft, which is kind of interesting, if you want to call it that. But I personally would have liked seeing, because I know this shaft, a lot of their followers would have known this, but I guess as a more like general pen, like as in somebody who it appeals to, milling this down flat is better. It doesn't harken back as much to the screwdriver, because it doesn't look like the screwdriver, you know? So, and you could even see, by the way, I can see why they went specifically with the Schmidt EasyFlow 9000, which should fit this Oto refill. I might I have a couple of those upstairs. You gotta buy them like a pack of 10 or pack of 5 or 10 or whatever. I can see why they didn't even do the P81, I think it was P8 something, the Capless, Schmidt Capless, 8126 and 8127. If you noticed how loose the Parker refill was in here, that's how much skinnier the Oto or the Parker style, like the Parker G2 style, versus like a mostly compatible standard in the Schmidt Capless is. So if they needed that extra width there, that would have really helped. You know what I mean? Like to fit it in there, basically, down the hole. So apparently it did so well, though, that they're probably considering next year doing another pen. So, and sounds like it would be, since they won't have to use up shafts at that point, because they'll hopefully have used them all up, it would be a Euro 110. So I was like, yeah, here, if you do Uniball, like not just Pilot G2, but Uniball compatibility, here's this giant list of refills, especially gel refills for people, those of us like gel, that are compatible. Like, and worst case too, they can even do it like what Keros did. They managed to fit an Ultem or a Uniball in here without modifications. If you want, I sliced off just the hairiest hair because it stuck out a little bit farther. And I think on my original, the very tippy tip of the ink was like flush with the end, and I don't like that because you can write on yourself, write on your pants. Just a hair, you know. That could have been the refill I had. It could have been the pen I have. It does fit without modification though. I believe technically, even though the Uniballs match Euro 110, they're actually 111 millimeters or something, which is probably why they need the little. But yeah, hopefully they do those, because it's sounding like they will, because the pen did so well for them, which is good to hear. It was $30 was a reasonable price for a Bolt pen, especially from like a non-established manufacturer, and that's like steel made out of parts. So heck yeah. I think they said they made 5,000 and they sold through like 1,000 in the first hour or so. So this guy's going right here, because that's how the pen cubes work. Newest, oldest is here. And once this cube's full, this guy gets out and we order another cube. This last time we didn't order a cube soon enough, so I had like 4 pens all over my desk. You're like, oh, but yeah, you say you don't mind if they get wrecked. Yeah, when I use them, I don't want them to just get wrecked by like sitting out or the cats knock on them or whatever, This sprout feels so good. By the way, the updated Slim Bolt feels magnificent. Magnificent. I will warn you, at least when it comes to the Cerakote on the Slim Cyclic. My new Icefall, beautiful, works just as it should. But the first one I had the same issues that David's had, where it would barely click in. I have never had that on the full-size side click. So it's something to watch out if you're going to buy a side click. Just double check that it shouldn't be like a hair trigger. Like before I would barely touch it, there we go. Now I gotta like chunk it. So, and if you guys like using your pens as fidget toys, I can tell you the side click is way better than the bolt. Like bolt, side click, or get a modal. Way more fidgety. Hopefully, supposedly, we're going to shortly see a updated smooth operator from Tactile, and I want to see what improvements they make because we ran into the issues here. And I'm not saying Karas ran into the same ones, but on the normal one of these, like even if you go like I don't have actually access to it because see, here's why. Like my original Ultem, the olive one, Mark II olive or whatever it is. Yeah, that's over in the cube behind the cube that's behind this cube. It's 2 cubes back. So I don't even have it anywhere near me to go and grab it because normally I would have them all lined up on my desk upstairs, so I can literally pick from all of my pens to see which one I want to rock that day. Minus maybe like 1 or 2 that kick around down here. Those are usually the battle worn ones from Karas, just because they were cheap. I can throw whatever refill I want on them, and yeah. But with Karas, though, what they did is instead of inserting a metal bolt into a, what do you want to call it, like a Delrin carrier that's here, what they did is that there's a screw that goes in from this side, like this. I think I've showed it before. That then screws into the actual bolt here, not the carrier, right? And the bolt is always aluminum or brass or something like that, unless you get the like the Ultem one. But that's how they avoided the whole, like when my bolt, even though it was a Damascus bolt, was incorrectly threaded on my original smooth operator, it cracked the Delrin. And it cracked the replacement of Delrin. And I didn't realize until later that, like, oh, that's why this isn't threading in. And because I even had trouble threading it in on the replacement. And then once I put the titanium in, I threaded it in so far that I couldn't get it unthreaded because the titanium carrier was hard enough that like the bolt would go in, but it wouldn't be this flush. If you see how flush that is, you can tell. I think they still revised it some for the. Yeah, you can see it's a little bit bigger. It's flatter, but it's bigger on the sprout here. But I want to say the smooth operator is probably the originator of this like flatter bolt here, because normally they like. Here you can see they stick up quite a bit more. Yeah. Now these are way easier to use. You can actually just, whereas, yeah, not happening, especially with this refill in there. Let's see this guy. Maybe. It's easier to do these flat like that, though, versus the full size. You can kind of throw around a little bit. Oh, God, that knurling. Yeah. It's nice to have an aluminum bolt on hand, and this is like knurled with orange. Chef's kiss. Oh, here, you can do stuff like this too if you want. Boop. Hey, look, now you got a place for your screwdriver. Alright, guys, device is overheating. We will get to, because we're at 2:45. Yeah, we will get to the rest of the giant pile of shit tomorrow after I get home from work, hopefully. Maybe not all of it, but some of it. So, we'll see you in the future videos. I know this one was a little bit long. There's a little bit of backstory there, though, with getting replacement parts and kind of going through a couple different packages there. Let me know what you think. Tactile Turn, as I showed you, like, technically I didn't, but they made that pen for Montana Knife Co., but they sent me the replacement parts. Like, they're very good on their customer service. They really need to focus on some of these things, though. Getting them, like, that's just a little mess up. But like stuff like this, do that testing before you ship it. With their knives too, if you buy a Tactile Knife Co., do not buy the launch one. I'm sorry to tell you guys this, but if Tactile Knife Co. and or Tactile Turn that makes the pens are there, You guys really have to, especially when you're doing new stuff. It seems like that first round of people that get them, despite paying a decently large amount of money, are like still beta testers, because um, there's very few pens where I haven't had some sort of issue. Um, once you started playing around with the stuff, so I can also tell you, I can see why, like apparently with the full size bolt, they are not going to change it over to the new clip style with the single screw and the peg internally, right? Now, the original Slim Bolt had a different clip than the full size, which is what I think allows it to, or part of what I think allows it to take the full size Uniball refills without adaptation at all. But apparently, the original Bolt, they're not changing, even though all of the other models, the Slim and the full size side click, have all been updated to the new clip and a bunch of other things. They're not updating that one. I mean, maybe they got it down pat, kind of like the stock side click as well. That one took a little bit longer to get changed over. Um, when you got it working, why change it, right? I mean, I'm just saying I would kind of like to see the new clip on the original Bolt, but I also bought on one of them recently, the Ember. Purposely bought the full size because I liked how the design looked on the older style clip. So, you know, a little bit different here, a little bit different there. Um, but yeah, they're I don't know. I feel like they need, like, before you ship it or you even try and sell it, guys. This is like the Tactile Turn, Tactile Knife Co. I don't know. Give it to like your buddy's buddy for like a week or two. Like, I mean, you gotta be into pens, obviously, and like be like, no, 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 use this pen as your main pen, and do that to like 5 people or something. Um, because I don't know, I just basically pick it up and immediately find something. I know that's because you're not making them bespoke, and once you scale up and stuff like that, shit happens. You know, it just seems like a little bit higher than smaller places. And I do know some people have especially complained about that when it comes to the knives. Um, you know what I mean? There was some play in the original Mavericks. You're like, oh, I can talk about that. I can't, because I waited. And they're actually reissuing, apparently, the Fat Carbon in the Purple Haze, which is a beautiful, beautiful knife. That's the one I own. So, of course, I would say it's beautiful, right? No. I mean, yes, but I waited for them. Usually, if you wait for Tactile to come out with an additional coating on it. The first time was like the Trailblazer or something like that. That was the first time they made a slim side click. So yeah, but usually they'll put out like a generic one first. You'll even see that in their knives. Turns out the topographical knife that my Icefall is, this guy came out about a month prior to the Icefall, which makes sense. You don't want to screw those up for the guy spending more for the seasonal version, right? You can make the generic one, knock that out, make sure you get the milling done, and then you have time to figure out how to Cerakote it. That's smart, you know? What I'm saying is I would probably wait for them to come out with that additional design, and because they seem to be figured out then. Kind of like a little bit with Cross too, where initially with the Ultem they didn't have the full Ultem internals, and I want to say within a month they did, because they just didn't have it ready. But and that's why they only put it out at the Pen Club, you know. But sometimes, like, if you're not into this as much, or you want to pick up one, sometimes if a brand new one comes out, unless it's a limited run or something, just wait. A lot of times they'll have it just fixed up a little bit more. Usually Karas doesn't have it broken, by any means. They might tweak it to improve it over time, whereas some of the ones with Tactile Turn are actually like not so good out of the gate. And if you're fine, if you have a bunch of pens like I do, just be aware you might run into something. I have to send it back. I have never had them not fix stuff. I've had them fix stuff well outside of what I would expect them to. They even helped me when I bought the Stealth Seasonal used on eBay that had just a beaten crap bolt. They helped me get a replacement, and they sent me two actually, even though I ordered one. So just like today, I didn't need 5 O-rings. That's, I think, their standard pack of them. But they also threw in 2 refills, right over there. They have great customer service. It's just, I don't know. If we didn't have to use it at all, that'd be even better. But a lot of this stuff is bespoke, effectively handmade. Even, I mean, like handmade using machines. Because you're not gonna. I mean, maybe somebody could hand make that like with their hands, but good luck. Um, you know. So that's my feedback there. Amazing products, eventually. And if you do have any issues for both of these places, well outside of like your initial like 30-day return or whatever it is, um, they'll help you. Like I said, I've gotten parts for my Karasas years after, and I can even put some improved parts in there. Tactile Turn has even remilled a top cap. Like they fixed my pen, which I appreciate. They didn't just now initially, if you're within that return policy, they will probably just swap it, which makes sense because it's probably a manufacturing issue, not a like user issue, or a wear issue. It's just a bad one that came off the line. But when it's actually like a wear thing, or like say I did something and I still paid so a lot of the knife companies will allow you to send it in to get resharpened for free, or not for free, for a cost, like $15 or something like that. And if it's an expensive knife, it's probably worth it, so you don't wreck it. And I've had experiences where like, oh, it's too bad to be sharpened, we just replaced it for you, or replaced the blade in it for you, and it's like, oh, hey, you didn't have to do that. I was just like, I knew it was bad, that's why I was thinking for sharpening. Heck yeah. So like, both of them kind of have that for pens. And I just noticed there's a nick in my smooth operator. Um, and that's in, how did it get? It's on this side. It's on this side here, which is weird if you're running it because you put it in your pocket like this. It's like there shouldn't be anything on this side of the pen. Ay, 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 ay. There's a little swoosh in there. Probably clunked it on something harder. What's harder than titanium? Usually stainless steel is what it is. Whomp whomp. But that's what I get for using my pens. Hopefully you guys use them too. Why buy them if you're not going to use them? Right? See you in the next one. Peace.